Yes, we say that always. And I'll do sermon from
Central. Okay. And so could I just,
sermon meditation.
oh,
No, meditation.
only sermon that we sent. Okay, good. That's good to know. Can I ask you just to stand right there for a minute so I get the note? And do you think you're going to be really standing there, or you move around?
I say.
You're going to stand there. Joe, you really just be rooted to the ground right there, or you're going to move around?
I guess I'm over here, the mic with this one. No. You're going to stand where you are.
Just stand where I'm at.
Yes.
Then you got that microphone.
Okay, so, okay.
Okay, so
Is this on because
I don't know.
That should be fine. Yes, sir.
Please.
We don't know if it's turn on, it'll be on the battery test.
Now it's green light. Now it's on, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go back and see if I can get those. So can I ask you both just to stand?
Sure.
For a few minutes?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
How about that? I can raise this up. Yeah, like that.
You speak too, if you don't mind.
Okay. Okay, tell me.
Check one.
Yes.
One, check. 111. Check one. Hello. Hello.
He's probably been here.
yes. Yes. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Check. Check. Are we here? If we do things at the wrong time or whatever, we laugh about it and move on.
So it says ring the bell and then welcome music. Does that mean
Yeah,
is that just the bell will ring and then start playing music?
yeah, the bell rings as the sound dies down. You start with the music. Yeah.
I'm just gonna focus on you right now. I want to know what I've done. Take about a minute.
Yes. Just in
I'm
a,
hiding that pilot light behind.
okay, back there.
the
Okay.
fellas, yeah.
Okay. Just in a short time, it turned to orange. I push it again, it came up green again. So I don't know whether automatically, maybe I hit it accidentally. Yes.
Yes, batteries for him.
Yeah.
He said it went to orange, so maybe he needs batteries.
Well, it's back on green now.
I'm good.
It's back on green now. I don't know. Maybe I hit it accidentally. And where's the bell at? Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay.
What does it look like now, the batteries?
What's that?
What is the battery indicator show you?
It's green now. I think maybe I accidentally hit it.
Okay,
Oh, it shows
right,
it.
You've got full battery.
We're good.
So-
Okay, good. Okay, we're good. Okay, it does. Good,
All right.
good.
We're good.
Let me see something down here. Could I see it ringing the bell? Yeah, okay.
Thanks, Joe, all done.
Six.
Wherever you are, we welcome you. Wherever you are, we welcome you.
Good morning and welcome. Most of you know that we're between music directors, and until we find a new church musician to join our staff, we'll be having some recorded music some Sundays and guest musicians when we can arrange it. Today we feel very special as we welcome Skylar Rayeti, who attended this congregation until he went far away to the University of Michigan, where he is a student now. Skylar is the special part. Hearing our organ being played again after a long period of its being idle is the very part. Thank you, Skylar, and we look forward to your return a few times in the next months. And Skylar and the congregation, if you know church musicians who might have possibilities for the Toledo, being the Toledo music director, please make them aware that we're searching. If you'd like to use an assisted listening device to help with hearing our public address system during services, we are now broadcasting on FM 90.7, and we have a couple of small radios with headphones that are available. Our church is part of the multi-faith meditation sessions held in conjunction with the Flowing Water Sangha on Zoom. And there are twice a month sessions on Sundays at 5:30 p.m. on the second and fourth Sundays, and every Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. This coming Tuesday will be the final in-person sitting in the Carl Sagan room here at the church, and then all meditation sessions will return to Zoom only. If you need the Zoom number, please contact the church office. This coming Wednesday at 10:30 a.m. is the monthly blanket making in Fellowship Hall for Leading Families Home, going until 1 p.m. Then you're welcome to join others in the group for lunch after. Blanket making skills aren't required, and your bringing your sharp scissors will be appreciated. On Saturday is this month's gathering of the Nitwits and Fiberwork Orphans, a time for you to bring your projects and work on them in company. You're asked to bring your own lunch and drink and to wear a mask when you're not eating. In 2 weeks, coffee hour after the Sunday service will combine with a fundraiser for the Multi-Faith Council of Northwest Ohio, sponsored by the council's men's group. Coffee hour will proceed as usual in Fellowship Hall, but at the same time and in the same place. If you'd like to eat and not just have coffee, the Multi-Faith Council men's group will sell you a meal ticket for $20, and you can dish up a plate of vegetarian and non-vegetarian foods while enjoying some music. The fundraiser is from noon to 2 p.m. And we do need an RSVP to determine how much food to prepare. And there are flyers available about the luncheon outside, just outside the sanctuary. See me if any questions. Also, 2 weeks from now, we're providing our grounds and facilities and teaming with the Greater New Psalmist Church next door to host Leonard Peltier's Walk to Justice, a group making a prayerful walk from Minneapolis to Washington, D.C. to plead for the release of Leonard Peltier, a Native American elder who has been incarcerated in the federal prison system for 46 years. Their walk is covering more than 1,100 miles, and Toledo is near the halfway point. From about October 9 through the 12th, of special note, that includes Indigenous Peoples Day on the 10th, the walkers will stop here for a few days of rest. Besides providing room for them to camp in our backyard, we can help by providing some meals, giving some hospitality, including the opportunity for them to take showers, and helping them to get to a laundromat. You might know that Leonard Peltier was convicted in 1977 at a controversial trial for 2 life terms to be served consecutively for aiding and abetting a murder related to the deaths of 2 FBI agents in 1975 shooting at the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation in South Dakota. There have been allegations of false statements by the government and by witnesses from the time of Peltier's extradition from Canada and continuing through the trial. Peltier, who will be 78 years old tomorrow and who has health challenges, has been eligible for parole for almost 30 years. Prominent U.S. and world leaders have called for his clemency. The Walkers hope that his release will happen during President Biden's term in office.
Today on our minds, in our hearts, and with our spirits, we continue to be concerned about the Russian invasion and war in Ukraine, as well as political unrest, including persecution in many nations. I'm thinking of Iran today as well. And here in the United States, we live in the midst of politics and election campaigns, and we work for the promotion of some issues, such as bodily autonomy, and the defeat of others, including exploitation of natural resources. In our own lives and those of friends and family, there are health, relations, financial, and other challenges, including celebrating new lives and mourning deaths. One reason we join in religious gatherings is to realize these common links. This past Thursday, the weather cooperated with the change of season at autumn equinox. Time goes on, it's fall now, and may we appreciate the climate we have changing as it is, and may we have compassion for all.
I have these opening words called together for the High Holy Days, Days of Awe, by Leah Ongiri, adapted. This is a season of repair, a time to reflect on how we might endure when life tears at us. We are held by the great book of life, in which it is written that we will inevitably face deprivation and discomfort, longing and forgiveness. Each among us must contemplate our own place in it all. As those of us in relationship with Judaism mark the High Holy Days, our hearts are filled with hope and fear, turning and settling, mystery and agency, accountability and acceptance. Let us gather today in somber celebration of our shared humanity and our personal power. Come, let us be together in this service.
And as Joe moves to our chalice, we like this chalice. We like this chalice on the brink of a new year, letting go of what has been, open and hopeful for what may come, renewed, restored, ready to live life fully anew. May we move forward with intention. And please join me in reciting the covenant of this congregation. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Our opening hymn is number 219, "O Hear My People," and words will be on the screen. and source of peace, lead us to peace, a place profound and wholly true, and lead us to a mastery pursue. May deeds they do inscribe our names as blessings in the book of life. Source of peace, lead us to heal. O source of peace, lead us from strife.
Good morning. Today we are going to talk about getting rid of our mistakes. We all have memories about things that we've done that we wish we hadn't done. Maybe you said something mean to a friend. Maybe you forgot to do your homework and your mom or your teacher got mad. Maybe you forgot your dad's birthday, broke your sister's glasses. Maybe you told a lie to keep from getting in trouble. Even after we've said sorry, and even after your teacher or your mom has said, that's okay, we still feel bad when we think of the mistakes that we've made. How do you feel inside your body when you look back on things that you regret? Does your heart start pounding? Maybe feel your face getting flushed? Kind of feel your shoulders creep up around your ears? You feel sick to your stomach? Do you wish you could get rid of those bad feelings? Today we're going to. Think about your mistakes. Let those awful feelings come and pool up in your chest. Cup your hands over your heart and let those feelings just pool into your hands. Then take your hands away and let those feelings cool down and firm up until they make a little ball. Are you ready to throw your mistakes away? Let's do it. Everybody who wants to get rid of a mistake, prepare to throw it. I have a bag ready to catch them. After they're all thrown away, we will get rid of them. I will take them outside, open up the bag, and let them float away. If you want to throw your mistakes overhand, great. If you're a softball player, you want to do it underhand, awesome. Put a little English on it, I can catch everything. So just when you're ready, throw me your mistake. Didn't mean all at once, but okay. If you've thrown your mistake, now say goodbye to it. Bye-bye. Bye. Now we'll get rid of it. And now, when you look back on that time that you made a mistake, you don't have to feel those awful feelings anymore. You can take your shoulders down from your ears. You can look back on it and say, yeah, that was a mistake. But you don't have to feel those terrible feelings anymore because your mistake is gone. You did a very good job of getting rid of it.
Please join me for a time of meditation, contemplation, and prayer. This is The Work of Creation by Israel Bufardi. I invite you now to join me in the spirit of meditation and imagination. Find a comfortable position in your seat and close your eyes. Take a deep breath and try to find the restorative power of air and water in the breath. We must breathe to live, but our bodies also need water to survive. Our bodies are more than half water. The air we breathe contains tiny droplets of water vapor. Can you feel them in your breath, flowing in and out of your body, like waves gently rolling in and out from the shore? Take in a deep breath with me now. Now notice your feet on the floor. Feel your connection to this sanctuary, this church grounded in the earth, connecting us to those who have gathered in Unitarian and Universalist and Unitarian Universalist churches before us. Ancestors whose presence lingers in this sacred space. What dreams and visions did they pursue? Now imagine these ancestors calling on us to create a new community at the start of a new year. What sort of a community will we create? Tonight marks the beginning of Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year, which commemorates the creation of the world. Each new year is seen as an opportunity for a new creation, a time to refresh and recreate ourselves and our communities, a new opportunity to fulfill our hopes and dreams for a better world. Ancient Hebrew tradition says that before the earth was created, the world was a wild ocean full of dangerous sea monsters. Our world may sometimes feel like a wild ocean. We may feel like we are fighting against impossibly strong sea monsters. But the waters are as mighty and powerful as the sea monsters. And that power runs in and through us with each breath, in and out. As we breathe, may we feel the rhythm of our breath, like the powerful waves crashing on the shores, turning and tumbling the largest boulders into the tiniest grains of sand. As we breathe in, may we feel the restorative power of air and water nourishing the cells of our bodies, giving us the power to pursue our wildest dreams for our community and our world. And as you breathe, notice the sounds. In like the whistle of the mighty ocean, out like the crashing of the powerful waves. Let us breathe and make those sounds together now as we find our strength to begin the work of creation in this new year. Let's observe 1 minute of silence. Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Wind of wind, rise in the sea. Move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice.
I have this reading from Disobedience by Naomi Alderman. A year may be easy, but its days are hard indeed.
At this time last year, according to our church Facebook group, Isaac Slater was quoted in The Blade for a story on podcasting. Some of us were active in working to prevent Perrysburg Heights from development, and apparently only recently was that resolved in favor of the residents of that neighborhood. And we were mourning the then recent death of John Christensen. I ended my radiation therapy by then and had begun pill-based chemotherapy to address my cancer that had recurred. Once all that was done, earlier in this 2022 Common Era year, 6 months and 1 day ago in the space of this past year, I received a stem cell transplant to address the systemic aspect of my cancer recurring every few years. While the transplant isn't a cure, it's expected to delay the next occurrence, and I'm continuing on a low dose of one chemo drug to help keep cancer away. My sermon a year ago this week was Hiroshima and Hersey, on the dangers of nuclear weapons, and tied to an anniversary of the United States dropping the first and second, the only nuclear bombs used in war. It was a Zoom-only service, 2 weeks after we had an in-person in-gathering service outdoors. We hadn't yet resumed weekly in-person services in the sanctuary because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Some of that seems long ago, and some is still fresh in our minds. That's what happens in the space of a year. It's not all orderly and progressing with consistent timing. And it's not even the same amount of time for each of us, really, when you look at it. Yes, it's the time for this planet we're on to complete a revolution around the sun, but a year is 2% of the lifetime of a 50-year-old and 50% of the lifetime of a 2-year-old. We don't need to get into advanced Einsteinian relativity. We all know that the flow of time is more like water in a stream than the consistency of a ticking clock. And time is much like water in regard to that Heraclitus saying, You cannot step into the same river twice, for the waters are continually flowing on. Nothing is permanent except change. Years are more permeable than permanent at times, aren't they? We can mark a new year in many ways. Presents, a meal, a special sweet to eat are birthday related. Special foods, football games, celebration the night before, and hangover cures the morning of the new year are common for January 1st. For Rosh Hashanah, there might be some solemnity if we consider the religious holiday, and we might have awe for these designated days. But Unitarian Universalists are sometimes reminded of everyday awe, just existing in this universe with so much known and unknown around us. At sunset today, the year 5783 begins in the Jewish calendar with the observance of Rosh Hashanah. While I don't personally follow Judaism, I do note some of its holidays as members of the congregation have ties to the Hebrew faith, either religiously or culturally. Plus, I have a thing about New Year's. I like to point out that making calendar markers is a human invention, as we can't tell if there's an origin point for the orbit of the Earth around the sun. So the starting line of a new year is our own doing. And the space of a year is the planet's orbit around the sun from one pretty random point, marking its return to that same point. If a year starts poorly, start it again. Talk about years gets us to the dominant calendar of the world, the year 2022 right now, in that common era model, which is based on some inexact Christian counting, that it was intended to time from Jesus' birth as the year 1 with no year 0, the time before BCE counting backwards, and the time forward CE, and sometimes known as AD for Anno Domini, or the year of our Lord for Christians. The beginning of the year 1 determined probably centuries later, after historical researchers weighed in, beginning with Jesus at about age 4. But that's what the world accepts. There's exact counting now, to the point when seconds are added to the clock periodically to account for a slowing Earth rotation and a slowing orbit, I suppose, but still with the inexact origin of the calendar count and the constant inconsistency of the human mind. We have paired science with culture there. And I like the ties of humanities and story with science and fact. So I'm glad to see years go by, and the ways different people count their way through, with some adding supposedly non-calendar days every year, like the Baha'i, and the Jewish people periodically inserting a leap month to account for differences in lunar 28-day monthly calendars and solar 365 or 6-day years. And where the year begins really is dependent on where we are, isn't it? We mark it from January 1st based on the predominant culture where we live. But we might also have a celebration of Chinese New Year and of course, the year marked from our birthdays. And we get to the fall and see that Rosh Hashanah is on the calendar, and we might remember that's the Jewish New Year. This evening, as I said, we'll begin the year 5783 in the Jewish calendar, and the first day in their month known as Tishrei. They call this holiday Rosh Hashanah. It's a 2-day celebration at the beginning of what is known as the Days of Awe. And that span includes Yom Kippur, their Day of Atonement, from sunset October 4th to sunset October 5th this year, as the Jewish days are counted from sunset, while the Christian and cultural calendar begins at midnight. While we have the Jewish aspect of the new year, I want to mention 2 parts as asides from the space of a year: the Shofar and the Book of Life. The Shofar is traditionally a ram's horn, but if you see evangelical Christians, some of them using the term Messianic Jews, they tend to use a long, curved shofar, which actually isn't a ram's horn, but is the horn of an antelope called the kudu, or a manufactured look-alike. The kudu horn is the traditional shofar of Yemeni Jews, but it seems the glorifying Christians probably use it because it's big and it looks more like a trumpet to blow down the walls of Jericho or something. Theatrical, not spiritual, maybe? While in contrast, many observant Jews blow the ram's horn, maybe valuing sound rather than picture, and as the poem on the cover of today's order of service says, it reverberates somewhere inside. From the glossary of my Jewish study Bible, which had as consulting editor my Hebrew Bible professor at the University of Chicago Divinity School, Michael Fishbane, this is from the shofar entry. In ancient Israel, it was sounded to announce the anointing of a king, or as a summons to war to sound an alarm. Today in the synagogue, it is sounded on the high holy days. The second aside is the Book of Life. Marginal notes in my Jewish study Bible say that it predates Judaism. The Book of Life is based on Mesopotamian tablets of life and destiny said to be written by the gods. And the Book of Life is developed in much detail in the post-biblical liturgy for Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. That's not the only tradition we see of who gets into heaven or has the favor of those people's God, for example, and who doesn't or is even cast into eternal torment according to story. But the concept endures, doesn't it? All that is thought to happen after death, when time isn't the same as ours, as those of us here on earth with those beliefs look at timeless eternity after our planetary presence is done. We do have books here, though, and life, if not a book of life. Let's concentrate on life and living good years. Let a lot happen over the space of a year, and nearly nothing at the same time. That's the balance, isn't it? Our perspectives let us see accomplishment and idleness are simultaneously achieving all and none of that in the space of a year. One more word to focus on. I have been using the word space. So let's bring outer space into this assembly of digressions about a year. That the space of a year is an important part of astronomy. the measure of how far light travels in 1 year. We don't see the actual present time of the stars in the sky. We see the light that reaches us over the number of light years distance that star is from the Earth. Wikipedia, my favorite reference source, says that a light year is about 5.88 trillion miles. As defined by the International Astronomical Union, a light year is the distance that light travels in a vacuum in 1 Julian year, 365.25 days. Because it includes the time measurement word year, the term light year is sometimes misinterpreted as a unit of time when it's actually a measure of distance. How long is a year? 5.88 trillion miles, or 12 months, or an instant. All factual, depending on perspective. Finally, let's consider the space of this year ahead of us. There's a lot to do and a whole year to do it in. The time will pass quickly, for a year isn't really that long anymore for most of us. What will you do with your year? What will we do with ours? Let's talk about that throughout the year. And I want to encourage you to join us for Common Era New Year's Day, January 1st, a Sunday. It won't be a typical Sunday service, but rather a table service in Fellowship Hall with traditional black-eyed peas and mixed greens. That's only a quarter of a year from this New Year's of today. Shana Tova, good year to you and yours. So be it.
We've now come to the offering portion of our service. The screen should show the many ways that we can contribute to the ongoing support and mission of this church. You can go to uutoledo.org, click on Give, and then click on Online Giving. You can send donations to First Unitarian Church at our address, 3205 Glendale Avenue, Toledo 43614. There is in your front of your hymnal rack, there are envelopes, and we also have a basket just outside the sanctuary doors as you leave. Thank you. Coming soon. That's it. Oh, sorry.
thank you very much. Very special. For this coming Sunday spiritual forum at 9:45 in Fellowship Hall, we'll have an invited guest. City Council member Nick Comives will be the presenter. And our 11 a.m. service here in the sanctuary next week will be the Supremes, the first entry in a series on issues in the news that affect us religious liberals.
And immediately after today's service, join us in Fellowship Hall for coffee and social time. We'd be pleased to answer any questions you might have about our church, and we'll enjoy spending some time with people both new to us and familiar friends. So please join us for coffee hour. I have these closing words. Rosh Hashanah benediction by Amy Zucker Morgenstern. The book of life is open before us. It tells stories of sadness and happiness, despair and hope, stagnation and change, and a peaceful stillness that transcends both. May you be written in the book of life. May you write your own name there in shining ink, stirred together from the tears of the past and the sweet flower essence of the hoped-for future. May you know who you have been and who you are, and bless your future with self with loving, brave intention. Lashana Tova, to a good new year.
And as we send the flame of our chalice into the community, may it carry New Year's blessings to those who celebrate that marker today. And may we consider some of the changes that fire can make, similar in some ways to our own changes in the space of a year.